Right now, something is probably watching you. A dog at your feet, a cat across the room, a bird on the wire outside your window. And it is trying to work out what you are, not who you are. What? It doesn't know you have a name. A job, a bank account, a species with a Latin label. It knows your smell, your sound, the shape you make when you move. And from those few scraps, it has already built an answer it acts on every single day. And that answer is nothing like the one you'd give. Most people assume animals see us roughly the way we see ourselves. A human, just bigger and stranger than the other creatures they know. But that's not quite right. To most living things on this planet, the category human does not exist at all. They are not asking what species you belong to. They are asking a much older, much simpler question. What is this thing and what does it do to me? And the answers they've landed on are far stranger than you'd expect. One of them has even invented an entire language. Just for you. Another keeps a file on your face. And one of them recognizes you using a brain that lives mostly in its arms. Let's start with the animal that understands you best. Your dog is not guessing about you. In 2002, a researcher named Brian Hare published a study in the journal Science that quietly changed how we think about the animals at our feet. He gave dogs a simple test. He hid food, then pointed at where it was. The dogs followed his finger instantly. Then he ran the same test on chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, animals that share almost all of our DNA. The chimps failed. They stared at the hand. They couldn't read the meaning behind the gesture. But a puppy, only a few weeks old with almost no experience of people, understood you were trying to show it something. Wolves can't do this. Dogs can. Somewhere in the long process of domestication, your dog was rebuilt on the inside to read you. But here's what's fascinating. It goes deeper than gestures. In 2015, a team led by Takafumi Nagasawa, also in Science, found that when you and your dog look into each other's eyes, both of you release oxytocin, the same hormone, the same chemical loop that fires between a human mother and her newborn baby. When wolves were tested, the loop didn't happen. They looked away. So think about what that means for how your dog sees you. It doesn't think you're a dog. It knows you're too tall, too loud, too strange, but it has hijacked the exact biological machinery used for parent and child and pointed it at you. To your dog, you are not quite family in the way you imagine. You are something it cannot smell its way to understanding, cannot fully explain, and bonds with anyway. The strangest creature it has ever met, and the one it would wait by the door for hours just to see again. Now here's where it gets stranger, because the next animal didn't just learn to read you, it built a tool to control you. Your cat almost never meows at other cats. This sounds small. It isn't. Adult cats in the wild communicate through scent, body language, and posture. They hiss, they yowl during mating, they chatter at prey. But the meow, that specific sound, the one your cat makes at you a dozen times a day, is barely used between adult cats at all. The only place it naturally appears is between a kitten and its mother. In the early 2000s, a Cornell researcher named Nicholas Nicastro studied this directly. He recorded hundreds of meows and played them to people. And what he found was that the domestic cat's meow had drifted, over roughly 5,000 years of living alongside us, into something tuned for human ears. Pleasant enough that we don't mind it. Urgent enough that we respond. But there's another layer to this, and it's almost manipulative. In 2009, behavioral researcher Karen McComb discovered something hidden inside the ordinary cat purr. When a cat wants something from you, it embeds a second sound underneath the purr. A high, sharp cry. And the frequency of that cry sits right around the frequency of a crying human infant. The exact sound your brain is wired, at the deepest level, to be unable to ignore. So when your cat curls up and purrs at you for food, understand what is happening. It is not talking to you the way it would talk to another cat. It is talking to you the way a kitten talks to its mother. It has decided on some level that you are the one who provides, the one who can't say no. To your cat, you may not be an owner at all. You may be a very large, very slow, permanent parent, a staff member it trained, an employee that, against all odds, keeps showing up. And honestly, what comes next is even stranger, because so far we've talked about animals that love you. The next one might hate you. And it will remember exactly why. There is a bird that keeps a file on your face. In 2009, a wildlife biologist named John Marsluff at the University of Washington ran one of the most unsettling animal experiments of the last few decades. He and his team wore rubber masks, trapped some wild crows, banded them, and let them go. They did nothing cruel. They just handled them once, briefly while wearing a specific face. The crows did not forget that face. Every time a person wearing the mask walked across campus afterward, the crows scolded. dive-bombed, mobbed. And here is the part that should genuinely stop you. Marsla found that the crows remembered that dangerous face for at least 2.7 years. Some of his colleagues report it lasting far longer. But here's the part nobody talks about. The hatred spread. Crows that had never been trapped, crows that had never even seen the original event, learned to attack the mask. They learned it from other crows. The information passed from bird to bird and from one generation to the next. A reputation traveling through a population attached to a single human face. So to a crow, you are not a human. You are an individual, a specific shape with a specific history. If you have ever been kind to the crows on your street, there may be a quiet network out there that has filed you under safe. And if you have ever thrown something at one, understand this. Somewhere nearby, a crow may be describing your face to another crow you have never met. You have a record. You just can't read it. But here's where it gets complicated, because maybe we've been asking the wrong question this whole time. Maybe none of these animals are wondering what a human is. Maybe they don't see a species or a person or even a fixed thing at all. Maybe they see a pattern. Think about what your dog has actually learned. Not this is a human. It learned that keys mean you're leaving, that a leash means a walk, that a certain tone in your voice means trouble. Your cat didn't study your biology. It learned that one specific sound, the can opener, means food is coming. The crow didn't analyze your species. It learned which face throws stones and which face throws bread. They are not building a theory of you. They are building a forecast. The only question that matters to them is the one that has kept their ancestors alive for millions of years. What does this creature usually do? And by that measure, you are not one thing. You are a different creature to every single animal that has ever met you. A provider to one, a threat to another, background noise to a third. You contain all of those answers at once, and you don't get to choose which one any given animal believes. And then there's the one that's hardest to explain away. The octopus has a mind so alien that it barely overlaps with yours at all. 2/3 of its neurons aren't even in its head. They're spread out through its arms, each one able to taste, touch, and react on its own. It is, in a real sense, a creature with no single point of view the way you have one. And yet, in 2010, the late biologist Roland Anderson and his colleague Jennifer Mather ran an experiment at the Seattle Aquarium. They had 2 people interact with 8 giant Pacific octopuses over 2 weeks. One person always fed them. The other always touched them with a bristly stick. Mildly unpleasant, nothing more. Crucially, both people wore identical aquarium uniforms. Same clothes, same setting. After 2 weeks, the octopuses behaved completely differently toward the 2 people. They reached toward the kind one and recoiled from the other. They could tell the humans apart, even stripped of every obvious clue, using a brain unlike anything in your world. So what are you to an octopus? You are probably not a human or a person or even an animal it has a name for. You are a large, predictable shape on the other side of the glass, sorted quietly into one of 2 folders. The one that feeds, or the one that hurts. A creature with almost nothing in common with you looked at you, decided you mattered, and chose to remember. So here is what every one of them is telling you. To your dog, you are a parent it can't explain. To your cat, you are a giant it has learned to manage. To a crow, you are a face in a file. To an octopus, you are a shape worth tracking. Not one of them sees the thing you see in the mirror. They see a smell, a sound, a habit, a forecast. They see what you do, and you will never get to correct them. You don't get words. You don't get to explain your reasons, your history, the person you believe yourself to be. You only get behavior. Every time an animal watches you, and they are always watching, far more closely than you ever notice, you are writing the only record of yourself it will ever keep. Not your name, not your intentions, just what you did the last time it saw you. And to every creature that has ever met you, that record is the only true thing about you there is.